May I start if everyone is here?
Yeah, just a minute. So, can you please start the recording and let the audience in?
Yes.
Okay, go for it, Yashika.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As we start, to tough times never last, but tough people do. I, Ashika Vijay, the host for current session, want to give you all a dynamic start on today's webinar, which is the entrepreneurship ladder. Because we should never forget that where we started from. We should always remember where we started from. Today, in this session, our speaker, Mr. Chandra, will throw light upon the journey of an innovator, a student, from being a college student full of bright ideas to transforming himself or herself into a skilled entrepreneur who's capable of executing these ideas. We have among us Mr. Kaushik Chandra for today's session. He is a business coach, consultant with a professional and a professional and practical experience of 30 plus years in different management categories in various industries from FMCG, IT, consumer durables, office automation, and audiovisuals. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us this evening. We are really glad to have you. Also, for today's session, we have Mr. Amit Rawat as the moderator. Mr. Amit Rawat is the faculty coordinator for entrepreneurship cell, Amity University, Rajasthan, and he is also the assistant professor for Amity Institute of Information and Technology. We are glad to have you, sir.
Thank you.
So maybe please start the session.
Okay. Will we also have an address by? Okay. Should I'm starting then. Sir, you are a business coach and consultant with rich experience of more than 30 years in diverse industries like FMGC, IT, durables, to office automation, audiovisuals. And you have also been mentoring businesses to handle their sales, distribution, network, and associated development activities. To begin with, I would like to know the toughest time of your journey and what helped you most during the hard times.
Thank you, Amit. It is a really, really great question because everybody, I think, in life passes through a toughest time. Because if the toughest time was not there, you will never have the good time also. So I think in my journey, there were several toughest times and for several years. It's not even one day or 1 month, it was several years. When I started my journey from, say, I was actually a geologist.
Oh.
And what I'm doing today is completely different. So I am a student from Presidency College, and I was one of the 20 students who used to pass every year in the year 1981 to 84. So I was not able to continue with that after my post-graduation in geology because suddenly I felt that I need to shift to a common goal. That was the biggest and toughest journey in my life to shift from, sort of a paradigm shift, from getting into a particular line and then getting into again shifting yourself after doing a post-graduation into that.
Very true.
So I thought that anything and everything is good or bad depends on how it is being marketed. That actually clicked my goal. And my toughest journey started from that particular day when I joined JL Morrison. Today, what you see as a Nivea product, that 10 grams and 15 grams Nivea product was launched by me in 1994.
Wow.
And it was very surprising, that time the CEO of India was Mr. Bob Wright. And he used to say that a business is nothing but sales. You can only be a businessman if you are good at sales, followed by a good collection.
True.
These three words still rings in my ears every day, every night. That business is nothing but sales
Sales.
followed by the collection. So
Great.
the entire process has taught me how to get into that. And today, probably by God's grace and by efforts, everything together with all the wishes in the market, I'm able to mentor people to tell them that business is not an emotion, it's a calculation, it's sales, and it's collection, nothing else.
Great, sir. We also have several professional degrees, actually
Yeah.
full-time degrees, courses like BBA, MBA in finance, marketing, HR, and so on. As a student might think, isn't that enough? Why do you think coaching is essential? The business coaching
See,
part.
in every, yeah, sorry, can I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Please.
The answer is very simple. Every university, every school, every institution in the world teaches to how to get a degree and make yourself ready for a corporate asset. But no one teaches you how to do a business. And I have covered this portion in my discussion also today. I will come to this at a length if I get time. It's very simple. Every institute, every school, every colleges, every university helps you to gather and acquire a degree to make you a good corporate asset. But there is no university who tells you how to do business.
That's where coaching comes in.
That's where coaching comes in.
That's true. So, entrepreneurship. The topic today is climbing the entrepreneur ladder. Now, entrepreneurship has been associated with risk. People think it is risky. There are students, there are people who want to become an entrepreneur. They do have ideas, but then because of lack of financial support, they quit, or they do not get the desired motivation to continue. So, what, according to you, should be the steps to be followed, to become a successful entrepreneur?
I mean, that is what I'm here to discuss about it. That's the main subject actually. It's basically a journey, a ladder from a student to an entrepreneur. How to go from a student to become an employee, to become a self-employed, to become an owner of a business, and to become an entrepreneur. That's the journey with which I have come here to tell the people, to tell my students out there, okay, this is what you have to follow. If you maintain that, then only you can become an entrepreneur, because entrepreneur is not born in a day. We always used to hear to the students of of the university today. I can tell you one thing. We always heard that Rome was not built in a day.
In a day.
But I completely defy on this. I tell Rome was built every day. It is true that Rome was not built in a day, but it is also true that Rome was built every day.
Every day. A different perspective, and I'm sure the students would like to know. The students would like to know the steps, the way they can climb the ladder of entrepreneurship, and the steps to be followed. We have a lot of students there listening to you, sir. So if you could brief them about the steps to be followed to become a successful entrepreneur.
So shall I get into my presentation and help them out on that?
That would be good. I would also continue the questions in between.
Surely, no problem. So if you can give me the sharing of the screen, then it is there already. Can everybody see this?
Yes, sir.
So I just break it down to this one. So this is the entrepreneur ladder. Okay. I think the introduction is already there. I've been working with FMCG, IT, consumer durables, office automation, audiovisuals. The companies which have crossed is JBM, the Patni Systems, Epson India Private Limited, the Japanese group, and KEI, the Audiovisual Masters. I was privileged to be handling a solid sales distribution network and the business development activities, alignment with manufacturing facilities across the country. I have worked with approximately 1,100 entrepreneurs across the country. Now, this is my short background. Starting from Xavier's to Presidency University, Kolkata, having my MBA done from ISWBM. I am also an ISF certified. ISF certification is nothing but color certified. I am capable of handling the colors of the different televisions produced in the country. I am a certified business coach from Action Coach Las Vegas. I am also an associated life coach with Mr. Arfin, a BNI Exponential member, and an SME, a member of the SME Chamber of India. This is exactly now what I do. To me, a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that walks without you. It's very simple. A successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that walks without you. It sounds so simple, but it is that tough to actually follow how to do it. And the question is how? When you try to do this, we always think of a broad view. We have to do that. We have to do this. There is a tremendous, achievable goal we take in the life. But ultimately, we should always work smart. The smart, for me, is very simple. It should be specific. The target, the goal should be measurable. And we should take a target which is actually achievable, a realistic figure, and with a time frame. It's very simple. Smart is always a smart. The smart way of doing things is always a better way of doing things. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, because every goal today is a goal, is an outcome when it is framed within a particular time. Otherwise, it becomes an endless goal, which people do not receive it. Now, while we do this, can you understand what is happening here? Can anybody understand what is written here?
The first one is entrepreneur at the
Yeah.
top of the ladder.
Yeah.
And then investor, owner,
Yeah.
manager, self-employed, employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all upside down.
It's upside down because exactly we are not able to find out how to become an entrepreneur. That's the biggest puzzle. Now, when we try to look into this puzzle, I think my things got blocked again. Now, can you read this?
Yes.
It is basically a journey from student to become an employee, self-employed, manager, owner, investor, and then entrepreneur. The small lines are given on the right-hand side of it. What an employee does, what a self-employed does, what a manager is up to, what an owner is supposed to do, what an investor does, and what an entrepreneur is all about. This is the most important journey, the basic ladder of being an entrepreneur. If anybody has questions, please put the questions in the Q&A box. We will come back to it. Now let's take. To me, the student is basically the step -1 in your journey of life. Because while in a student, we start learning in a school, in the colleges, in the universities, and prepare ourselves to be, as what I told in the early half, that to be a valuable corporate asset. Because we have to sell ourselves to an organization so that we earn more. And we are termed as an apprentice employee. That is what the definition of a student, because we are learning to become an employee. We are gathering informations from the different institutions and then wanting to become an asset to any of the corporates where we want to join, and then work there as an employee, as an asset. This is what a student is. If I go to the next one, which says an employee, the journey from the student to the employee brings her to the level of 0. One was -1. Now, don't take this -1 as a negative one, because student, we are talking about a journey to become an entrepreneur. So the student is below the line from where you're coming up to a journey, which says the journey continues, step 0, employee. So what an employee does, we use our education, our experience from the family, from the society, and deliver it in the form which is given to us by an organization where we are working. So that's where we are learning how to do, how to observe, and how to see the subject as what is shown to us. This helps us to, to develop ourselves and climb the ladder for fortune. Like, for example, somebody joins as a sales executive, it moves down to a zonal executive, and then he becomes the area sales manager, he becomes a sales manager. So he keeps on developing himself. But only one thing, what we don't learn is basically a total experience to become a businessman. Because we excel in a particular line, in a particular subject, which is not enough to be a businessman. So the whole problem is we remain ignorant for the other factors of a business organization.
So as you said, I'm sorry. As you said,
please.
We began the ladder, climbing the ladder from a student. And then, as you said, we climb up the ladder, become an employee, and so on.
Yeah.
Now, there are several students there listening to you. Now, what can they do while they are enrolled full-time? They are already there studying. But I believe the preparation of being an entrepreneur can begin right here. So what is your piece of advice for the students to make the best out of this time while they are enrolled full-time in a course?
See, Amit, while they are enrolled in a full-time in a course and while they are studying, they are actually going in a particular track.
Yeah.
Whereas a business is not only about one track. When you become a businessman, you have to be the master of all the steps together. Correct? So the students who are there in the university, who are studying, who are wanting, first of all, they have to decide their goal in life, whether they really want to be an entrepreneur or they want to take a different line. That is one thing. Because some people, they excel in being an employee. They stop here. They stop the journey here and keep on circling around the word employee and go on developing them. So that is the growth of life. There are some people who break this employee level and then go up to become a self-employed. So while they are spending their time in university, they also need to understand the other aspects of business. Because businessman is not selling. The owner of a business organization never goes to the market to sell. He actually manages the entire circle of business. That is what it is. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir. Students, if you have any questions, you can put it on the chat box. Let's make it interactive. Okay.
Yeah, surely.
Okay, as and when the students have question, I'll put it to you, sir.
There is one question which is there in the Q&A. I don't know.
It is that question which I asked regarding the preparation and efforts of the first year students in order to be successful.
Yeah.
So it has already been answered, sir.
So I was in the stage of an employee. Now, this employee, when he starts growing within the organization, always has a mindset of becoming self-employed. So what is self-employment? Self-employment is nothing but we actually buy ourselves a job. I'm again repeating the word. When we become a self-employed, we are actually buying ourselves a job. The problem is in majority of the cases, an entrepreneur, while getting into the journey of being self-employed, has spent a very narrow employee business period. So with this line, I would like to suggest people that while getting into an entrepreneurship, please spend a good considerable amount of time exploring yourself being an employee and then jump into it. Otherwise, I will say you a Maharashtra uh, statistics where every quarter there are approximately 3,200 businesses are closing down, and there can be various reasons about it. There might be a finance problem, there might be an understanding problem, there might be a market study problem, because the people who have become an entrepreneur, they have just become an entrepreneur from become an employee. These things normally they sound very harsh, but it is very true in sense, because when you are becoming a self-employed, you are actually buying yourself a job because you want to and you have to do everything. So basically you need to know everything, starting from finance, starting from marketing, starting from sales, starting from collection, starting from recruiting people, the GST portals, everything you have to know as self-employed, because you don't have the money then. You have to do everything. So while stepping into the stone of this being a self-employed, be very careful. And that's why I say the major problem is majority of the entrepreneurs today, what I found, have a very narrow employee experience. Any questions on this?
There are a few questions there.
Shall we take it later?
Yeah, we can take it later, but yeah.
Shall we continue taking it?
Yeah. We can take it later, sir. I would sum up them for you.
No problem. Thank you so much. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this self-employed person actually now becomes a manager. What is a manager? A manager who is managing all type of difficulties. A manager is there in an organization not to manage the good things. A manager is there in an organization to manage what is not happening. That is called a manager. Now, when this self-employed person becomes a manager, he actually steps into the system of employing more people. Who is going to do? He is going to add more employees and start building a team. Okay, start building a team who will actually carry his vision to the fulfillment. That is very important. Very, very, very important stuff, that you have to have people who will take your vision to an completion, because you cannot run a show alone. You have to have a team with you, because that is the main thing. Okay, now duty of a manager is actually to arrange the flow of your vision into the team, because without that the mission will not be complete. And the worst part of a manager is he keeps on going merry-go-round as a circle by putting off all the problems created by his team, because anyway a team will always create some type of problem in the organization, but the manager, here in this particular case the self-employed person has become a manager, he has to actually put them off. His main duty is to master the people, to carry the vision of the organization which he has seen while becoming a self-employed. That's the journey of a manager. It is time to become an owner of the organization. It is not that just by creating a company name or having a GST number you become an owner of an organization. An owner of an organization is completely different, is basically an ownership of an organization. The wrong things and the right things both are the component of an owner. There are few things which an owner should not do. Number one, when a self-employed becomes an owner, he should not take all decisions. because he has already developed a team to take decisions. If the owner starts taking decisions, then all the team will become defunct. They will never perform and they will never want to perform at all. So the major principal duty of an owner is to make the people work for the company. If he keeps on doing everything, then who will carry the vision of the company around? That's the problem. Number two, an owner should not focus on multiple things individually. I repeat, an owner should not focus on multiple things individually. Or if I rephrase this statement, it is basically he should not do micromanagement. Micromanagement is the most harmful disease which can ever take a business into toll. Because the owner has to have the team who are carrying his vision with him, and that team can be maybe two people. The team can be the owner plus one, but he has to have somebody who will always give an insight of what is happening and what should not happen. This helps the owner to come out of the business for a while and take it into a different level. He must learn to work with a team. That is more important. He must learn to understand the team, and he must learn to drive the team. Think of a situation like, in a shop where the owner comes and sits in the shop. What he does not supply material to the customers. His team is supplying material to the customers, and he's confident that his team will give the exact weightage to each and every product what the customer is buying. He is only handling the cash at one point of time. Or if you go to departmental stores, what you see, somebody else is selling, somebody else is collecting. The owner is not seen anywhere. This is the biggest task what an entrepreneur goes through. It is very difficult to untie the rope. It is very difficult to accept that I, being the owner, I will not tell anybody to do. It always comes inside. The ego plays inside. The I factor plays inside. The owner always, if the owner starts thinking that he is always right, then he is completely filled up with ego. And ego is nothing. Ego is equal to God only. He thinks that I am the owner, I am the financial supporter, so I will take the last decision, and I promise all of you, you will make a mistake in this decision. A business owner need not sit inside the business. He has to sit on top of the business. That's what an owner responsibility is. The fourth stage is becoming an investor. Now, what is an investor? Can I have some answers on the chat box if you know somebody called what is an investment?
Yeah, some answers, please, because one of them had questions regarding how to convince our points or our ideas to the investor, how to convince the investor that the idea is worthy. So I am sure there would be answers to what an investor actually is.
Now this investor, what I'm talking about and what in the question on the investor is are a bit different.
Okay.
I will answer to this question later on differently, but I will just complete the investor is. This investor I'm talking about the stage of development of the entrepreneur from the student life. After he has, if I go back to the old one, after he has become the owner, he has developed his own team, and the things are functionally working okay, then he himself turns to be an investor. By this investor, I means you are reaching to a point that you have gathered and made enough money and wealth to invest in some other business. Because there is a very good example given by Mr. Brad Sugars. He says, if you want to achieve 100%, you can achieve 100% from one business, or you can achieve 100% from 10 different business by doing 10% of each business. or maybe 20% from 5 businesses will also give you 100%.
Wonderful.
So, correct. So you don't put all your brains into one subject and keep on trolling, because remember one thing, when you become an entrepreneur, your system needs to change in due course of time. You cannot be sitting on one system for a very long time, because during the period, things are going to change, people are going to change, the human requirement is going to change. So you have to keep on changing yourself. Change is the only constant factor in life. So as an investor, he starts buying business opportunities. This event helps him to become an entrepreneur. A successful entrepreneur actually keeps on buying businesses with other people's money. I repeat again, while he was an investor, he was investing in other people's business and acquiring that business to increase his wealth. But when he became an entrepreneur, he buys business opportunities, but not with his own money, but with somebody else's money, but with people's money, with shares. This is a journey of entrepreneur which doesn't happen in a month, it doesn't happen in a year, it takes several years to come up to that. Okay, now I come back to your answer for acquiring investment for your business. One thing is very sure, acquiring investment, there are today a lot of institutions who are actually wanting to give finances for new startups. If you really want, if you have got a good project, if you really think that it is worth, we can always place your project to those CFO firms available in the country who are actually collaborating with a lot of people, with a lot of larger institutions who are ready to invest in a lot of businesses. But these people invest only when your business starts running. They will not invest you at your level 1 or level 2. You have to bring that business to a certain level where you become an investor. Then people will come to invest on you. Have I answered this question?
Yes, I think so. Yes, sir. Yes.
Any more questions on this level? Then I will go to the second one.
You may continue, sir, please.
Let me continue. Everybody has seen a cycle, right? A bicycle. We have, I think, more or less, whoever is present here, at least 99% know how to drive a cycle. So the cycle is always made of, if you draw a cycle, I can't see anybody. Had it been Zoom, I would have asked you to draw a spoke before you. So all these 7 are the 7 spokes of your business. Number 1 is the marketing. How to market your product, how to market your thought to your sales team, because they are going to be in the market to sell your product. So marketing you are doing, sales your team is doing, the entire operation has been looked over, will be looked over by your operational team, that is operations. What are operations? Is basically to see whether the material is in place, the system of the organization, and everything. The 4th one is known as R&D. I hope everybody of us knows what an R&D is, research and development. Now, we are not a scientific laboratory on this. Our research and development in an organization is always present to find out new product, new knowledge to market it in the market. The job of an R&D is to find out new products, new ideas, to give it to the sales team to again continue selling. Because as I told you just a bit earlier, your products needs to change, you need to change from time to time, because the time when you will start the business and after 5 years, the things will change, the ambience will change, the people will change, the requirement will change, and there will be more and more competition coming in. So you have to keep on floating on that R&D bar. And of course, your accounts has to be definitely the controlling institutions of your organization, because they will control your taxing, your systematic accounting, and everything. Number six, the sixth spoke of your business is your human resources, HR. And HR duty is to induct people of value into the organization. And HR job is not only to create the payroll of the organization. An HR job is to add value to the organization and to induct the people with values into the organization, because the people what the HR will induct will actually carry the mission of the organization to its fulfillment. Now there is a disclaimer. This marketing, sales, operation, R&D, accounts, and human resources, these are all part of an organization. You did not accept the sales team, you did not appoint people in an organization just by starting it. You can always outsource marketing. You can always outsource operational jobs. You can R&D should be your team. You can always outsource your accounting job, because today you're in the initial part of the business, you don't need a permanent accountant. I don't have a permanent accountant after 1.5 years of business. I also have got a team with me, but I don't have an HR. I have outsourced HR and HR activities. There is an HR resource who also types down the appointment letters, the exit letters, the understanding and everything. They take the pay. So it is not necessary that you need to appoint people before you start earning. You can obviously start outsourcing your requirements. Coming to the last one is known as the management, which is you. The management is nothing but you, because you are managing the show. If you see this circle, if you see the entire spoke, you will see the sales and human relations are in the same line. The management and the R&D is in the same line to give support to the sales and to the marketing. You will see the marketing and accounts are on the same line, because the money spent has to come, the money earned and go back to the accounts. So this particular cycle spoke, or the 7 spokes, has been made in that way, and it becomes an obvious business cycle. Now think of a situation where one of the spoke breaks. Any one of the 7 spoke, one of the spoke breaks. What happens when you're riding a bicycle, one of your spoke break? The spoke comes out of the bicycle, it tangles it down to the second spoke, the tension creates, and again it breaks the second spoke also. It keeps on breaking the spokes if you don't rectify at the very first end. Business is also like that. Business is not a lone journey, it is basically a team journey. Now, if things start breaking in this way, and if you're not putting if you're not putting an attention to that, it will look like this. It is there, the business is there, but it cannot run on its own. The system is not working. The spokes are not there. The stability is not there. Now to run this, the businessman, the entrepreneur cannot leave this and go away, because he has invested his time, his life, his money, everything into this. So what he starts doing like this. He keeps on rattling on the business and makes it running automatically. The moment he will stop, the tire will stop. The moment he will stop moving it, the business will start stopping. This is the journey of an entrepreneur. I hope I am clear to this, that what is the takeaway from this entire, how a business entrepreneur actually maintains the 7 axes of the business. If the spokes break, he is to rectify those spokes immediately, take a stand. That is the job of a management, which is the 7th one, and rectify it so that the spoke keeps on running, the bicycle keeps on running. Otherwise, it will become like this, and then the entrepreneur has to be on this stage, which is not at all required. Correct?
Absolutely, sir.
With this, I end my thing, and this is my organization at Connectively Defining Businesses. We have conceived this novel vision of world abundance through the re-education. I consult business owners directly on a systematic one-to-one approach to take their business to on a different outcome organically. My business, the key focus is basically strategic planning, sales team development, sales and marketing, system optimization, setting up and team development, and of course, profitability. I say a simple word. Sales is known as vanity. Okay? Sales is known as vanity. Profit is sanity. If anybody wants to write it down, can write it down. Sales is vanity. I have done 30 crores business in this financial year, even if it was under lockdown. It's a vanity. Profit is actually the sanity. You have to be clear how much profit, net profit, how much you have earned at your corpus. That is much more important than vanity, that is sanity. And cash is reality. This is the Bible of business. Sales is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality.
Wonderful.
Okay?
Wonderful.
So this is my journey of commitment. Sorry. Yeah, please.
Yeah. May you explain things, sir, using pictures and demonstrations? It's really easy for the students to understand.
Business is very simple, Amit. Business only we need to understand what to do and how to do it. There is no emotion in business. There is no emotion in business. Emotion is only 20%, but the system is 80%.
Very true, sir.
Mera 90% businesses you will see when they want to appoint people. I'm taking some time. I don't know whether I'm exceeding the time or not. They always tell their relative or somebody, अरे मेरे को एक आदमी देना यार काम करवाना है, थोड़ा माल बेच के आएगा. This is the normal thing what we see while people, try to recruit people. Okay, so this is completely redundant process. मैं किसी को बोलूँगा अरे मेरा business profession, business coaching में किसी को देना है, तुम्हारा जान पहचान कौन सी है, मैं तो अब उसको 25,000 रुपये दूंगा. So what is happening here? It is very interesting to understand. I am actually gauging the capability of the person by the value, by the predefined value. Because I've already understood that I have made a budget of 25,000 rupees. And I will fit in anybody who comes in the 25,000 rupees. But that person may come or may not come without a value. So in our system, we take this instrument as a deselection process. It is not selection, it's absolutely deselection. Now, what is a deselection? If in my industry, if I need somebody, I don't need a guy from an FMCG, right? I need a salesperson, but I don't need it from FMCG. What I need somebody from the educational background who understands how to explain profitability, business to the entrepreneurs. So it's basically I'm deselecting the qualities of the person whom I want to hire. Because the ultimate goal is to make the entrepreneur commercially profitable enterprise, which can work without the entrepreneur, because the system has to work. That's very important. And interestingly, the word system, we use it in every day-to-day life without knowing what the system is. So if any of the students who wants to write down what the system, it will help you in your future in any communications. System is SYSTEM. This is system, right? S stands for saving. Y stands for your. S is self. T is time. So saving yourself time, energy, and money. If you break this word system now, SYSTEM, it is savings yourself, time, energy, and money. Then only the system is happening. Otherwise, there is no system.
Wonderful perspective, sir.
Correct? So, with this, I end my presentation. You can find me in all these numbers if you want to. And you can always follow me at Connect. I'm present there, videos and all those things. And I can stop sharing and take some chats from you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really so much informative. And I personally, I'm very moved. I've unlearned several things,
Thank you so much.
And it's important to learn, of course. It's equally important to unlearn. Few of my concepts regarding, as you said, it's not wise for an owner to take all the decisions. It's not wise for him to go into micromanagement and manage all the nitty-gritties. Now, he should not be in the business but on the business. So very simple concept, sir, but very, very intriguing, very, very, I would say, effective ones. One a kind of personal question, but I think it will help various students who are listening to you. Do you regret any mistake which you think you could have avoided, or the students should not make them, or rather the students can learn from your mistakes or from the mistakes of other business people who you have seen or mentored? So if there are any regrets on your
Yes,
side.
of course. Yes, of course. Of course. It is like, digging within our own self, because the more you dig within yourself, the more you find light. So when I always sit alone, I always used to think that why I didn't succeed when I was in PCS. I was working that time in a company called Patni Computers, who were well-known Patni Group. Okay. So I was a regional head, country head for that organizations. So I was not able to understand that what mistake I was doing, but I was not doing my best. That was sure, and I understood that every time. Even after 5 years in that organization, I was not doing my best, and I was not happy also, because I was understanding that I was not doing my best. The reason is that I got emotionally entangled with people. Today in business, as what I said, if you have to remove anybody, you have to remove anybody. Because if anything is hindering your growth, you have to remove him, because with the hindrance, you cannot grow.
Very true.
So I always regret definitely why I know the people who was hindering my growth, but why I got emotionally attached with them, and why I was not able to that time remove them from the system to make my system clutter free.
Great. And that is why you say that business is just 20% emotion, or maybe even less.
Yes, maybe even less. Today, if I employ my family relative in my organization, for example, normally happens in the small organizations, they employ chacha ko beta, ye, wo, han, tan, sabko leke aa jata hai. And you cannot judge them. You cannot be judgmental on them, but you are an entrepreneur. You have put your money inside. You are putting your blood inside. You are putting your family inside. You have to be judgmental on somebody's performance, but if it is an extended family, you really, really can't say anything. So that was my biggest regret, that I became personally involved with so many families during that period, and that too one was in Sri Lanka. I was handling Sri Lanka that time. So, and he was not performing, but still I used to maintain them, and I was leaving out the person who was performing. In the process, I was also not developing.
True.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
There are several questions, but in the course of your presentation, I think you have addressed many of them. So those would be redundant questions. To sum up few of the questions, may I ask, when do you know? I mean, actually, an entrepreneur's journey begins with an idea. And if the idea is worth pursuing, then he'll bring in everything, the money and the people and the management and everything. Sometimes you see, even if you have a good idea, things do not perform because of lack of something. But then you have to stick to it if the idea is really good. Now, the question is, how do you identify if the idea is really good? Is it worth pursuing or not?
See, it's completely, we have got two parts of the brain. Okay. Yeah. I will not go very deep inside it, because that is another study. I'm also a life coach, so I study on that also. So your left brain is always very calculative, and your right brain is always very creative.
Okay.
You will always see in your life, and I hope everybody will see that, when you really want to do something, there is somebody behind your head will telling you, don't do it, mat kar, nahi hoga tere se. You keep on doing that. For example, today you want to buy an Audi, and somebody will tell you from the back of the mind, अरे Audi अभी क्यों ले रहे हो, अभी मत लो, अभी तो लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, कुछ नहीं होगा, EMI कहाँ से भरेंगे. But your front brain is always pushing you, nahi, you have to, because it is time now. How many years will do this, because the price is going down, you will get more benefit into it, but the back of the mind will push you, mat kar, it is not the right time. And sometimes we break that. Listen to yourself, very important. It is not necessary that your back brain is always misguiding you, because he is a protector. He's a defensive player. He's your virtual parent. Listen to that. It will always come in the mind. You go for a window shopping. Somebody, the shopkeeper will show you a red color shirt. You mind will say, "Nahi, mere ko pasand nahi hai." It comes automatically, right?
True.
And then when you forcefully buy that red shirt, I can promise you, Amit, you will never wear it. Maybe you will wear it for one time, but it will lie in one corner of your closet there.
So there is a purpose that nature has gifted us with two halves of the brain.
Yeah, there is a purpose of that. Utilize that purpose. Always listen to it. Don't take the decision in a single day, or not even in a month also. Keep on talking to people. Keep on talking to people. There will be several thousands of ideas comes in, and every idea will come up to your back brain and tell you, ki, this okay chalega, this nahi okay chalega, but somewhere there will be a cross.
Very true, sir.
There you will come out to say, no, mere ko ye karna hai. My journey towards becoming a business coach was also like that. Will I leave the job and become a business coach? 30 years of working. On 30th of every month, you get your salary. Your EMI is being paid in time. Your rent is paid in time. Everything is secured. Whether I do it or I don't do it, it's $1 million question. My family will say, mat karo, tension hai, EMI hai. But again, your left brain will say, do it slowly, but you will win at one point of time. The moment I heard that you will win at one point of time, and you will try to give out to people, it will give you immense satisfaction. I dropped everything and went into business coaching immediately. That was one day decision. Because somehow somebody told me, Kaushik, money is there, but not so much as of now. But it gives you immense pleasure when you talk to people, when you help people and make them understand what mistakes you have made and what they should not make. And people will become dependent on you. Guide them, money will come. In its time, money will come.
So we are now running out of time. So maybe I'll take one last question.
Sure.
And I'll sum up few questions in that. As our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi says कि हमें आपदा को अवसर में बदलना है. And this question is about the threat which COVID-19, or others say the change which COVID-19 has brought into our lives. Do you view this as a threat or an opportunity?
It's an opportunity, actually. It's an opportunity. So, it was a hidden opportunity which we never thought of. Today, what we are doing, any organizations which was working were traveling 15 to 16% of their entire profit in traveling. People going from one place to another by a flight or by cab, everything. Because traveling was a norm. Today, when you have cut down traveling, then also the jobs are happening.
And
things are happening.
Even the infrastructure costs, the electricity costs, the maintenance costs,
of course,
have come down.
Of course. So what Honorable Prime Minister said is absolutely right. It has given us a new look. But there is one problem, one disclaimer inside it. Even if you can get an opportunity to meet him, you can tell him everything is okay. But who will give us the correct network at home? Who will give us the infrastructure to walk at home? In India, I'm sorry to say, हम लोग घर पे पूजा घर बनाया, हम लोग घर पे कभी काम करने वाला घर तो नहीं बनाया.
Correct. We never thought it would be required.
So today, maybe a lot of flats are coming out with a small place, secluded for your work from home.
Correct.
So of course, this has really cut down. It's a good question. Absolutely good question.
Thank you, sir. And it was really enlightening, not just for me, and I hope also for the students who are listening to you. And may I now hand it over to Yashika?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So first of all, I really want to thank you personally because I was listening to the webinar very vividly, and I'm still stuck on that one lesson which you gave, that Rome was not built in one day. We know that, but Rome was building every day. And so, being a critical thinker, I just learned one lesson, that we cannot be emotional all the time. And so, in all of the students, I'm the only one who can speak right now. So I think I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, that thank you so much for giving us such insightful lessons. And sir, I don't think so that this was some webinar or entrepreneurship. They were literally life lessons which we learned today. And as Amit sir also said, we unlearned a lot of things. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Amit sir, for moderating the session
Thank
so
you,
well.
Amit. Thank you, Ishika. Thank you all the team together for being patient to hear me out. I will be looking forward to meet you again when you are available.
No, so it was wonderful hearing you. Personally, it was wonderful. I have wrote down few stuff. I'm going to show my dad today when he comes home back. They were wonderful, and also I want to thank the whole entrepreneurship Stella team who worked hard from last 2 weeks in conducting this webinar.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to be associated with you. Let me know anywhere, anytime I can come into any help. Actually, virtually, I have got a lot of my friends in Jaipur. I keep on telling them. So I have got some clients in Jaipur also.
Okay.
So
sure, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.